Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Jacob YamatoCannon Mebdi. Just a small update before we head into the pick'ems. The KC coaching arc has been finished. We did lose against Vitality, you know. Shout out to the boys, shout out to KC for creating this opportunity for us. It was a lot of fun. I was streaming a lot less because we were busy scrimming and so forth, but now the streams are going to be rebooted. We're gonna stream from early morning till like in the evening. We're gonna be doing the tracking the pros and all that jazz. We have revealing the top 25 list together with Dom is coming up. A bunch of words content. We're gonna do a breakdown of BDS versus GG. I just recorded Euphoria with Dracos and Dagda. No Kadul this time around, you know. He pieced out doing his own thing. Respect. So we're gonna jump in and just continue the content as per usual. Let me just fix the window capture frame and just transform that. Nevertheless, pick'ems. If you want to follow along and copy my pick'ems, you're welcome to do so. But so many variables at play, very hard to find the perfect pick'em. Crazy thing about this is that we have to do our picks, and probably, you know, essentially my pick will be PSG and whoever wins the World's qualifying series. I think that should be the favorite. But something that I always keep in the back of my mind is that the VCS teams, you shouldn't sleep on them. PSG as a team as well could be the strongest one coming out of here. I feel like the VCS and of course Brazil as a region, they have the right elements to potentially really like blow out and become stronger and stronger as regions as things progress. I think it comes from the size of the fandom. I think it comes from the size of the servers, the amount of players that are actually interested in League. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, CBLOL will be cooperating with North America in the future and they'll be mixed together, you know, as a region. Or that the VCS will also inch in and maybe become a major region. But this is very far down the line if League survives that long, due to, you know, the metrics that I find are important for the growth of a region. But nevertheless, crystal ball, this is what you came for. Let's have a read. How many reverse sweeps will there be at Worlds out of 9 total BO5s? So honestly, reverse sweeps are very uncommon. I think in most cases, right, if you want to be a little bit more scientific about it, I think the best one is 0. But I think that the human aspect of it all makes me feel like at least 1 is gonna happen. We saw a very crazy World Championship last time around, so I'm gonna just pick 1. I'm gonna press 1 here. An additional detail to this, right, is that I think that the matchups we will have in quarterfinals are going to be very competitive or very one-sided. I don't know why that detail matters. I don't think that details matters, so I'm going to not go on that tangent. Confirm pick. 1 out of 20 complete. What will be the duration of the longest single game at Worlds? So, considering we have a circumstance where Sivir could be played, Orianna could be played, Mages could be played. We have a lot of games, series, best of 3s, where there's going to be a lot of stakes with potentially weaker teams. I think that due to the nature of play-ins, I'm going to guess, I feel like 50 to 54 is already like, it's very on the deep end. This is like very on the deep end. I think 45 to 49 seems like a more realistic window. I wonder if there's a way for me to look up, you know, the longest game time that we've had globally, but I'm sure it's been above this. So I think due to, I'm going to go with my guts here. We're not doing this scientifically accurate. I'm not gonna sit here looking up everything. How many pentakills will there be at Worlds? I think the easiest indication always is like Tristana is still a champion, right? Tristana is a champion, Zeri's a champion, Kaiser's a champion. You know, these are champions that are very prone to get pentakills. We have some really good AD carries at the World Championship too, like Ruler, Gala. Somehow Viper and Jackalov didn't make it. So I'm going to pick a little higher number here. I'm going to do a 3+. I feel like this feels good, the 3+. I think that 0-1-2 is way too little for the amount of games, and we have some serious demons in the AD carry position and some great Tristana players too. And I feel like those champions are very prone to getting some juicy pentakills, so we will definitely like pay attention to that one. All right, confirm pick. Which Drake will be killed the most at Worlds? All right. It would be funny if like Drake the Rapper was an option here, but I guess that would be like the beginning of a lawsuit, you know? It's like Suge Knight sent out a hit. I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, which Drake will be killed the most at Worlds? So it's like, I think it needs to be one of the stronger Drakes. So it's like, we're not going to predict which Drake will spawn the most, because I think that's the weird approach to it. We need to pick the Drake, assuming that all Drakes spawn equally, right? They have the same odds of spawning. We need to pick the Drake that is the most enticing. It's like whenever you see Hextech Drake on the map, you're thinking a lot less about map trading because you're giving up so much. So I'm going to just go for the Hextech Drake here. I think that makes the most sense. How many Baron steals will there be at Worlds? I think, whoa, the highest range is 9+. That's a deep range. So let's think about the metrics, okay? We have Pioshik is playing at the World Championship. We have Gumayushi is playing at the World Championship. Let's think about some of the junglers too, right? You have Lee Sin, lethal damage, Rel is still relevant. You know, champions with a high burst, right? Kha'Zix might be played, maybe, right? I think my gut is telling me 6 to 8. It's telling me 6 to 8. I think that earlier on in the tournament we will see a lot more of this. As weird as it might sound, like a lot of the Drake steals and the Nashor steals came from extreme, let's say, misexecution on the RX's side, but I feel like that's something that is a lot more prone to happen in some of the earlier stages. I'm gonna go for 6 to 8. I'm gonna lock in 6 to 8 here. Baron steal specifically doesn't count for Drakes, doesn't count for everything. I think the fact that there is a lot of junglers with a lot of burst damage in their kit that might be played is going to spice this number up. Let's lock in and confirm that pick. All right, who will be played in the most different roles at Worlds? Who will be played? So it's like, which champion will be played most different roles at Worlds? So I think the first thing that comes to mind, right, is a champion that has synergy with Senna potentially, right? Senna synergy is going to be important. Being able to jungle is a big plus. So it's like, even though Akali might be played on top and mid, that's only 2. So it's not super exciting. Amumu only has 2 roles. We need to think about the champions that might have 3 roles, right? What could that be? Gragas could be one, but it's also quite deep, right? This champion has taken some nerfs. Gwen is something that could be played mid and could also be played together with Senna, but also quite deep, right? This needs to be like a scenario where it's actually being played in 4 roles. Senna Gwen is something that could be played, right? Ivan is something, like if Wunder was at the tournament, Ivan is definitely a champion that could be played in more roles. I could see Ivan mid being a thing, Ivan top, Ivan even together with Senna is something, Ivan Nyla could be something, Ivan jungle could be something, but I think that's also a little bit too on the deep end. Let's scroll down a bit. Kai'Sa, not really, 2 roles maximum. LB fallen out of favor. Kai'Sa's not in the picture. Karthus could be one, but that's once again only 2. I don't see anyone playing it mid or top, even though I think that it has some potential there. Cannon, no. Let's scroll down here some more. Maokai top, very low chance. Nyla, no. Poppy could be a choice, honestly. Poppy could be a choice because support Poppy isn't too crazy. Top lane Poppy is really strong, I think, and Poppy jungle is definitely something that is in there, right? So let's just click Poppy for now and scroll down some more and see what's up. Rel is a candidate, but it's just support and jungle, right? I don't see Rel being played in any other role. Rumble jungle ain't that bad. Rumble mid is kind of weak and Rumble top is very strong. So 3 roles potentially. I could see a world where you play Senna Rumble too. It isn't too crazy. Set too weak of a champ. Sivir no, Soraka no, Sona no, Swain. Swain is a champion that could be played, you know. Swain is a champion definitely that has spots where it's strong in 4 positions. Everything besides jungle. But I don't think it's going to be prevalent enough. Tahm Kench, top lane, a little bit too weak. Jungle is not a thing. Mid lane is something that we've seen before in the past, but not so much. Talia could be paired and be played bot, but we only have that in 2 roles. I feel pretty good about my Poppy pick. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the Poppy pick feels pretty solid here. I feel like it's a good bet where the main question mark will be if Poppy will be seen in, of course, the support position. But there's definitely games where support Poppy can be very strong. Neeko is also another interesting one. I've seen a lot of Neeko support being played, Neeko jungle, and also Neeko mid. So that could be one too. But I feel pretty good about my Poppy pick, especially because Lee Sin prevalence and so forth. I could see teams being able to pivot into a Poppy support, and jungle and top I think is a given. So I'm gonna lock in my Papushka pick. Papushka. Who will be picked the most during Champion Select at Worlds? So basically, I need to think about a champion that won't be banned too much and will slip through the draft, right? That is like the main thing. I think Renekton is something that teams will invite to play against because Renekton definitely has counters, but I still feel like Renekton is a champion that people are going to look to blind. So we're going to just slam Renekton here. Renekton did get a 4 magic resistance nerf, which is huge for the matchups that people like to pick into Renekton. Think about it, right? This Cannon, Ornn, Rumble are usually the go-to picks that people go to when they want to pick something into the Renekton. And we've seen Cannon get a buff, and this is where it might matter. But for now, I still feel like Renekton is in a strong enough spot to be picked. The other candidate could be Orianna. I feel like Orianna could be there. I feel like Orianna is going to be the go-to blind in a lot of cases. And I think that that, of course, is very relevant. Who will be banned the most during Champion Select at Worlds? I will go with Taliyah here. I think that Taliyah is very, very solid around mids. Very, very strong around mids. I think that the deletion of the LeBlanc variant is something that really, really makes Taliyah strong. I think Taliyah jungle is also monstrous. I feel like Taliyah is something that is going to be banned a lot. We have a lot of strong Taliyah players at the World Championship, and I think this is a champion that should be heavily, heavily contested. It's nice to see these next to each other. It's funny, like all of these champions have some kind of synergies with Taliyah, with Poppy, and Taliyah with Renekton specifically. Who will have the most total deaths at Worlds? So as weird as it sounds, oh, the champion that has the most total deaths. Well, there's only one candidate, like we need to send in the Nautilus. Let's be honest, there's a champion that still should be played and will be blind picked, and it is a champion that is going to run it down. I thought we were looking for the player, you know, like the player who is gonna enter both. Who will have the highest win rate at Worlds? Minimum 5 games played. Okay, this is where it gets interesting, because I think there's going to be like some niche champions that might be picked less and in very specific spots. And I think that that champion is going to be so amazing there, right? It's like the fact that it's a minimum of 5 games, there's going to be a champ that has like 5, 6, 7 games played with an absurdly high win ratio, right? So for me, that eliminates the usual suspects like the Maokai and the Rel. It's like, if you want to view it from the position of, yo, these champions are really, really OP, they're going to have a really high pick rate, and they're going to have a lot of indicating factors that tells us that these champions are insanely strong. We need to find the champion that is going to be played very little, picked in very specific spots, and be very strong in those spots. My mind goes to Bard first. Bard is the first thing that comes to mind. Sylas is like the epitome of what I just explained, but I feel like Sylas is not going to be played too much because Tristana and whatever, you know. Malphite could be another one of those, but I feel like Malphite is like a poisoned champion. So many games where Malphite gets picked, it's losing, so I don't like it too much. Nyla could be interesting too, because it's also used as one of those counters, but the fact that Senna Nyla is a lot more prevalent makes me less keen, because if you have lower end teams playing something like this, I think this is where things could get wonky for you, you know? Let's think a little bit further. Shaco could be a very interesting one too. I feel like there's going to be some teams that bust this out and grab some cheeky wins on this. Shaco, I'm honestly, Shaco or Bard is where my headspace is at. I think Heimerdinger could also be a good shout, because it highlights a team that is willing to pick Heimerdinger in certain spots are very well aware of their strengths and what they want to leverage in the game. Because the message that Heimerdinger sends in the draft is very clear. It's like, we want to stomp bot, play through bot, and I think that only the teams that have the awareness and the ability to do so are going to slam a Heimerdinger. What else? Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with Bard, or what was the other one that I said? Bard or Shaco? Bard or Shaco is going to be my choice. I'm going to go for Bard. I think that it's more likely that we get the minimum 5 games played volume on Bard than the other way around. Who will play the most different champions at Worlds? So I think the first thing that comes to mind, right, is you need a player that is going to go deep in the tournament, right? So we need the JDGs, we need the LNGs and the Billy Billies and the Genjis, right? We need someone that's going to go far into the tournament. I think my mind goes to let's just do a little bit of cheating here. My mind goes to Knight initially, but the mid lane pool hasn't been that dynamic, and I think we're going to see more Tristana, more Jace, and then just Orianna, and I feel like we're going to have trades of mages with Syndra, so I don't think mid lane pool is going to be that dynamic. I feel like if anything, jungle should be a very dynamic role, right? You're going to have the Talias, the Nidalees, the Rels, the Maokais, and then I feel like if there's going to be a player that is capable of playing all sides of that, for me, that is Kanavi. That is Kanavi. We just look at Kanavi's history, right? If we look at Kanavi's history, it's like already this year, right? We had some Rek'Sai, Nocturne, Elise came through, Lee Sin, Poppy, Maokai. He has covered all of the grounds and gone through all of the metas. And I think if you look at his, all year long, you've seen him go through so many metas. He has the Gwen in there. I remember that his Bilveth was super special, right? 8 games, 75% win ratio, was playing this when nobody else was playing. And I think that jungle is going to be quite dynamic, so I think that Kanavi is my guy. The only thing that is making me skeptical about this is that JDG is a very good team at identifying their identity, and they don't stare away, and they stay true to it. So we could have a tournament where, plain and simple, Kanavi just sticks to the pool that makes their team function. So this comes with a little bit of risk. Another good shout could be like someone like Canyon, but the issue with a champion like that, or a player like that, he also happens to be a world champion, so I wasn't wrong when I called him a champion. The issue could be that, plain and simple, he doesn't go far in the tournament, and that's a risk that of course Damwon have. So I think that Kanavi for me is a good shout. 369, Ruler, missing, support pool shouldn't be too dynamic, I think, very similar to what we saw. I think jungle pool is where we might see the most craziness. Who will get the most kills in a single game at Worlds? I think it has to be Ruler. I think it's the easy choice. It's either Ruler or Scout to me. And I could see Scout dropping like some heavy bombs, like Scout just dropping like a monster bomb. I can easily see him like popping off completely on one of the mid laners. So I'm just gonna slam Scout here. Who will have the highest KD at Worlds? I think that's where things will look different. I think this is where I have to go with Ruler. I think mid lane is so explosive and dynamic, so you're going to be at the forefront of the action, and you don't dictate the pace so much as an AD carry. I think that Ruler's aura dictates the pace of a game because everything gravitates towards him because everyone will be aware of him in the game. But the role that Scout plays in mid is going to put him closer to the action at always. So I think that even though Ruler is going to be the most stable, I think Scout might just drop a big banger on us. Who will get the most first blood kills at Worlds? So this has to be another jungler that we choose, right? Specific wording here is kills, which makes it goofy. It makes it very goofy. The first blood, the portion of it that says kills. So it's not takedown, it has to be kills. Someone needs to look for the kill. Like, I wouldn't be like here for some reason my mind is going to Canyon, but it's like if he's gonna if he's gonna set up for a gank, he's gonna grab the kill, you know. It's a very specific mentality tied to who Canyon is as a player, because even though it's like when you think of Peanut and Kanavi, like these guys are going to give up kills in some cases to embolden their laners, you know, but it's once again one of those questions like you need to go far into the tournament and you're playing the most dynamic role, so I think just has to be Kanavi here for me. Who will get at least one pentakill at Worlds? I think it's just Ruler's the easy option. There's no way this guy is not going to get a pentakill. I think that's pretty straightforward. But I think that the majority of people are going to slam this name on the table, you know? Another layer of questioning here is, you know, I think being #1 seed is a definitive plus. It's funny to me that LNG is 3rd seed in the same bracket as the likes of Mad Lions and Team Liquid. They are seeded the same. Which team from a region with 2 seeds or less will advance the furthest through Worlds? I think the PCS. So I am going to go for PSG Talon here as my vote. And this comes from a position of very limited knowledge about the other regions. So I put that out there, you know. These are not regions that I paid attention to close. And I hope that one day they prove enough on a world stage to convince me to do so. So the ball is in your court. All right. Which team will win the shortest game duration at Worlds? Mad Lions. No, I'm kidding. Win. It just has to be some Nidalee Gaming, you know? I'm just gonna go JDG, guys. I'm just gonna go JDG. Which team will have the most Baron steals at Worlds? Another one of those things. It's just Gumayushi T1. Are we gonna take that for the Luls? Just the most Baron steals T1. Fuck it, let's put them in there, man. This is such a crazy question, you know, so let's just put T1 in there. Which team will win Worlds? Ho ho ho. I'm happy that they made it easy for us and they just put Beijing JDG Intel Esports Club at the top. Of course, it's according to the alphabetical order, but they put Beijing in there just to make sure that everyone chooses them. Which team will play the most different champions at Worlds? Once again, we need to think about depth here. I feel like Bilibili is a team that will go far and also will make the most changes between games. So I think Bilibili is the one. I think like JDG is going to stick to a style and win the tournament with it, while Bilibili will be like, oh, we just lost the game playing with Jax. So Bin, you will never play Jax again. And whatever, you know. Boom. All right. That looks good. That looks good. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if any choice that I made is crazy. You have some feedback. I did this impromptu, but I'm happy with my choices. This is the one that is a little bit tricky here. Picks. Here I'm just going to choose whoever wins the WQS together with PSG. And then leaders. All right. No Astralis leaders. All right. Maybe I should make a little group here. and we should maybe cook something up. But nevertheless, I think that's a good point to end the video. Catch my streams as per usual. I'm still cooking on the side of co-streaming. I can tell you for sure that I will be co-streaming, but it might be in a different way that I imagined. But at least if you made it to the end of this video, a little nugget of information for you. Lots of love, take care, and if you sneeze during this video, bless you and bless your face. I catch you guys on the Flibbity Vlog.